The first Christians were called atheists by the people of the day, and they refused to worship the emperor. 2,000 years ago, there's a lot of emperor worship around, and they refused to worship him. So they were called atheists. They didn't believe in the false god of the emperor because they belonged to the true God, the one who gives us every breath we breathe, the one before whom we will give an account on Judgment Day. All of us will give an account of everything evil and good we done in our body on the earth. That's an appointment. You need to put it in your diary. I mean, how convenient. Just pretend God doesn't exist. You're not going to pretend him out of the way when you're standing before him alone, giving an account for your life. You're trying to imagine him out of existence. He's the judge of the whole earth. And he calls all of us to account. Have you got happiness? Anyone here happy? One person. What's the basis of your happiness, sir?
Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah. Now make sure you're following the true Jesus. You know that. Here's another scandal. The gospel is a true scandal. It tells us that the King of the Jews, his name in Hebrew is Yeshua. Jesus, his name is Yeshua. It means God is my salvation. He's the King of the Jews. Now, why is that emphasized? Well, because the purpose that God brought Gentile dogs into his kingdom, he doesn't want to remain them. He doesn't want you to remain a dog. He wants you to come in to the eternal nobility, the commonwealth of Israel. And the purpose he brought you into his Hebrew kingdom is in order that you would make a certain people jealous. Who are those people? The chosen people of God. You know, when I go to most churches and I speak to many Christians over the years, well, there's this blind spot. Yeah, they're rejoicing in Jesus, but what Jesus have you got? Is it a false one that allows you to carry on indulging in your lusts? Is it a one who allows you to keep your hidden anti-Semitism? The real Jesus demands your soul, your life, and your all. Make sure you're following him. His purpose in bringing you into his Hebrew kingdom is that you'd make the Jews jealous for their Messiah and extend expensive mercy to them. Let me give an example. 70 years ago, there was a family called the Ten Boom family. They were Gentiles. God found them as Gentile dogs and gave them a history not their own and adopted them into his eternal family by the blood of the Messiah, the King of the Jews, Yeshua. And they put on the yellow star. They weren't Jews, but they wanted to extend expensive mercy to the Jews. And what a time to do it in their extremity. 6 million perished. And why can't I remember any other families? Why do I have to dig and scrape the barrel out to find out any other Christians that stood with my Jewish people 70 years ago? The same thing is about to occur again. This time it's going to be a Holocaust that will eclipse not just the one 70 years ago, but every single Holocaust so far. My Jewish people have been through more Holocausts than any other ethnic group on this planet, mostly because of rebellion, mostly because of sin. And they're facing the worst one. It begins with a false peace, and the stage is already set. And where do I hear the Christians having mercy in this generation? I can just think of the Ten Boom family. They perished, the two members of that family perished in the concentration camps. They didn't have to go there, but they identified with the Jewish people in their suffering, in their extremity. And if you're truly a follower of Christ, the King of the Jews, you also will recognize the purpose he saved you for. It's not a self-centered, self-seeking Christianity. It's in order to fulfill his purpose. Have you ever heard of the manifold wisdom of God? The manifold wisdom of God states that we are to be demonstrators of God's manifold wisdom. Example, think about the first martyr, Stephen. He demonstrated the manifold wisdom of God. How? When they were stoning him to death and he was bloodied and supernaturally he was able to demonstrate God's manifold wisdom. His face was shining as an angel. They still stoned him to death. And as they were murdering him, he prayed for his murderers. That's an example of the manifold wisdom of God. He wasn't concerned about his own welfare. He was breathing out his last breath and he's praying for his murderers.